The Shadowhunters. How many episodes did you do that a year?
We did, our first season was 13, and then we did 20 and 20, and then we did a 2-episode series finale. So all in all, 55 episodes.
You see how, though, you can remember, I know you can, when you did 13 episodes, how much nicer that was and easier, and you had a bigger break, and it wasn't as, but when you do 20 episodes, you're there for 8-9 months, and it's pretty taxing. It's not, it's not easy. People say being an actor is so easy, and we're just, but it's not. It's not like, it's not a glamorous job, really.
No, I mean, look, I've had,
you're
like
grateful.
You say about the dust and the wind, I might get, you say that it might become a challenge, but remember, I've been covered in blood and dust and slime and all sorts of stuff for the last 7-8 years. I'm used to it. I love it. I love being in the trenches. I love being, my favorite days on set are being head to toe covered in blood, mud, sweat, and tears.
Gosh, you're a rarity.
In the trenches. Yeah.
So bring on the dust and the wind. All we are is dust and the... So, do you remember that song? Do you remember that? I would hope so. I mean, you're 26 now.
Uh-huh.
Far more mature than I'll ever be at 26.
No.
Yep, you are. The new Shadowhunters podcast.
Mm-hmm. I'm joining your world now.
What do you mean?
The podcast world.
Oh, the podcast world. Yes. Yeah. Who approached you about this?
So I started talking to one of our producers at this company called Propagate about creating content and what else we could do working together just during the pandemic. What else can I do? Being a creative, someone who wants to be a multi-hyphenate, how can I get involved? And one of our producers turned to me and went, "You did the show Shadowhunters, and you seem to have a really big fan base for it. Like there's a really big fandom that's still very active." I went, "Oh, you have no idea." And she said, "Well, what if you were to do a podcast? Maybe, rewatching episodes or interviewing people." And we started talking and developing it. And I reached out to Dom and said, Dom Sherwood, who played Jace, my love interest on the show. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, would you want to go on this walk down memory lane? Would you want to go back and rewatch and bring on some of the rest of the Shadow fam and interview people and discuss this?" And he was totally on board because this fandom is so incredible. And I know we've talked about it at length before, but they've done so many incredible things over the years and taken the show beyond, or taken the fandom beyond us and beyond the show and beyond our characters and the story, and created this beautiful community. And, for me, Shadowhunters was age 19 to 23. It was such a formative part of my life. And being able to look back on it now and relive that and see where all of the people that were so instrumental in that process are now and the amazing things they've done, and be able to kind of continue to celebrate that family. It's really, really a wonderful experience.
Return to the Shadows with Dominic Sherwood and Katherine McNamara.
Indeed.
Wow. When is it already going?
It is. Yeah. We've started releasing episodes. I think we have about, I want to say 7 or 8 episodes out already.
Really?
Yeah.
And so what do? Do you go back and watch the episode and then talk about it?
So we alternate. So Dom and I will go through, and the two of us will do a rewatch of an episode where we basically break down when the episode was shot, who directed it, who wrote it, what the synopsis is, and then kind of talk about it and share as many little tidbits and stories and all the stuff we've never been able to talk about before, basically.
Would you go back to would you go back to the Shadows? Would you go back to Shadowhunters if they did like a TV movie or they wanted to do another season?
In a heartbeat.
Really?
In an absolute heartbeat. Yeah.
You loved it that much. There's not much. Is there anything that you don't love or didn't like filming or didn't like working on without, you don't have to tell me, but has there ever been something that you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that again?
Maybe. I mean, there's things that have been more difficult than others, but not because of the story or because of the character or mostly because of the people I worked with. It's all, I've been very lucky in that the majority of the experiences that I've had in this industry have been wonderful and learning experiences and things that I would go back to and people that I would go back to. I mean, maybe I'm just a stubborn optimist, but
yeah,
I love what I do.
Yeah, I wish I had that attitude.
So